Hello and welcome, or welcome back if you're returning to this channel. So, is it just me, or are the children of the forest creepy little buggers? And sneaky too, with their weird powers that basically allow them to be CCTV over Westeros. So how do they do that, and what else are they using that weird ship for? The children of the forest, as we initially learn about them, they're told as being long gone, haven't been seen in 1,000 years, as dead and gone as the others coincidentally, and basically a myth. They have lived in Westeros long before the first men came over, and they were living harmoniously with its existing nature. They were a people dark and beautiful, small of stature, no taller than children even when grown to manhood. They lived in the depths of the wood, in caves and crannogs, and secret tree towns. Slight as they were, the children were quick and graceful. Male and female hunted together, with Wierwood bows and flying snares. Their gods were the gods of the forest, stream and stone, the old gods whose names are secret. Their wise men were called greenseers, and carved strange faces into the Wierwoods to keep watch on the woods. But because we can't have nice things, eventually the first men came over from the east on their big horses and just took over everything. The children of the forest were feeling very displaced, obviously, but the first men, they thought that the trees with the faces carved into them were watching them, so they cut them down and burned them. The children of the forest were livid, so obviously they were at war. Eventually, a pact is made and peace is restored. I have a thought on this, we'll come back to it later in the video. Finally, the wise of both races prevailed, and the chiefs and heroes of the first men met the greenseers and wood dancers amidst the Wierwood groves of a small island in the Great Lake called God's Eye. There they forged the pact. The first men were given the coastlands, the high plains and bright meadows, the mountains and bogs, but the deep woods were to remain forever the children's, and no more Wierwoods were to be put to the axe anywhere in the realm. So the gods might bear witness to the signing, every tree on the island was given a face, and afterward, the sacred order of the Green Men was formed to keep watch over the Isle of Faces. The pact began 4,000 years of friendship between men and children. In time, the first men even put aside the gods they had brought with them and took up the worship of the secret gods of the wood. The signing of the pact ended the Dawn Age and began the Age of Heroes. So long as the kingdoms of the first men held sway, the pact endured, all through the Age of Heroes and the Long Night, and the birth of the Seven Kingdoms. Yet finally, there came a time, many centuries later, when other people crossed the narrow sea. The Andals were the first, a race of tall, fair-haired warriors who came with steel and fire, and the seven-pointed star of the new gods painted on their chests. The wars lasted hundreds of years, but in the end, the 6 southern kingdoms all fell before them. Only here, where the king in the north threw back every army that tried to cross the neck, did the rule of the first men endure. The Andals burnt out the Wierwood groves, hacked down the faces, slaughtered the children where they found them, and everywhere proclaimed the triumph of the Seven over the old gods. So the children fled north. During the Age of Heroes, it's believed that they worked with men like Bran the Builder, using their ability to communicate with giants to haul big-ass blocks to build with. They lived alongside other races prior to meeting the first men and going to war with them, and so they are quite friendly, very earthy, very eco-friendly, with their soul recycling, and they camouflaged and blended with their surroundings just naturally with the way they looked, but also with the way they dressed. In place of mail, they wore long shirts of woven leaves and bound their legs in bark, so they seemed to melt into the wood. But because of their small stature in comparison, the first men named us children, the little woman said. The giants called us Wo Dak Nag Gran, the squirrel people, because we were small and quick and fond of trees. But we are no squirrels, no children. Our name in the true tongue means those who sing the song of earth. And they do, communicating with animals. It's very earthy. I guess they are singing the song of the earth, wind, water, and fucking fire as well. But they don't seem to just have control over the animals, but the elements themselves too. During their war with the First Men, the children of the forest used a supposed spell called the Hammer of the Waters, using the sea to break both the Arm of Dawn connecting the two continents and halfway up Westeros, creating the Neck. These are crazy strong powers to summon the literal sea. Like, how far is it off believing that they're using every crow or raven in the land to spy? And it's not that far off maybe believing that they're using their watery powers to freeze dry beings into existence and maybe creating the others. And from there, it's just a skip, hop, and a jump to maybe the remaining children of the forest controlling the others that we're seeing in the story now. Am I wrong? I don't know. When they made the pact on the God's Eye, did the children of the forest just do that, to keep their cameras secure whilst they retreated? Because they knew maybe what they could go off and create. And then once they did create that thing to come and attack the First Men, it will maybe got out of hand, so they had to then create the wall, or help create the wall. Because, there's that weird gate in the wall, the black gate that's got the face carved in it, and it talks. And the children of the forest, they used to gift the Night's Watch with, their only known weapon to kill the others. I found mention of dragonglass. The children of the forest used to give the Night's Watch 100 obsidian daggers every year during the Age of Heroes. Once Bran actually reaches the Three-Eyed Raven's cave, we meet some children of the forest, and we get a bit more explanation into their use of trees as they start to train Bran. "Where are the rest of you?" Bran asked Leaf once. "Gone down into the earth," she answered. "Into the stones. Into the trees. Before the First Men came, all this land that you call Westeros was home to us. Yet, even in those days, we were few." And when asking about the Three-Eyed Raven and his tangled Wierwood enthroned body, "Most of him has gone into the tree," explained the singer Miracle Leaf. "He has lived beyond his mortal span. And yet, he lingers. For us, for you, for the realms of men. Only a little strength remains in his flesh. He has 1,000 eyes, and one, but there is much to watch. One day, you will know." "What will I know?" Bran asked the reeds afterward, when they came with torches burning brightly in their hand, to carry him back to a small chamber off the big cavern, where the singers had made beds for them to sleep. "What do the trees remember?" "The secrets of the old gods," said Jojen Reed. He gets extra explanations from the children or singers themselves. "I thought the green seers were the wizards of the children," Bran said. "The singers, I mean. In a sense. Those you call the children of the forest have eyes as golden as the sun. But once in a great while, one is born amongst them with eyes as red as blood, or as green as the moss on the tree in the heart of the forest. By these signs do the gods mark those they have chosen to receive the gift. The chosen ones are not robust, and their quick years upon the earth are few, for every song must have its balance. But once inside the wood, they linger long indeed. 1,000 eyes, 100 skins, wisdom as deep as the roots of ancient trees. Green seers." which is creepy, is it not? Like, not only is Bran essentially being encouraged to eventually skin change into a tree, but they're going to start him off with the birds in the cave. "You will never walk again," the three-eyed crow had promised, "but you will fly." Sometimes, the sound of song would drift up from someplace far below. The children of the forest, Old Nam would have called the singers, but those who speak the song of the earth was their own name for themselves, in the true tongue that no human could speak. The ravens could speak it, though. Their small black eyes were full of secrets, and they would call at him and peck his skin when they heard the songs. When Bran eventually slips into one of these skins of the birds, he can feel another presence in there, like another soul. Not the bloody bird soul either. And he can see through its eyes the same way he does when we see him warging into summer, or when Arya has her wolf dreams. So if the ravens can have a consciousness in them that's in league with the children of the forest, anything they see can easily be reported back. Maybe they're having a little meeting when they all go to Raven Tree. In the show, Bran uses the birds to locate the Night King. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in the books, but should we consider any living creature as potential CCTV leading straight back to the children of the forest? And back again to another of, their earthly powers. We've mentioned before about them carving the faces into the trees. Maester Luwin explains to Bran early on, "Was it magic? Call it that for want of a better word, if you must. At heart, it was only a different sort of knowledge." "What was it?" Luwin set down his quill. "No one truly knows, Bran. The children are gone from the world, and their wisdom with them. It had to do with the faces in the trees, we think. The first men believed the Greenseers could see through the eyes of the Wierwoods. That was why they cut down the trees whenever they warred upon the children. Supposedly, the Greenseers also had power over the beasts of the wood and the birds in the trees, even fish. Does the Reed boy claim such powers?" And later on, Jojen Reed gets all profound and tries to explain. "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies," said Jojen. "The man who never reads lives only one. The singers of the forest had no books, no ink, no parchment, no written language. Instead, they had the trees, and the Wierwoods above all. When they died, they went into the wood, into leaf and limb and root, and the trees remembered. All their songs and spells, their histories and prayers, everything they knew about this world. Maesters will tell you that the Wierwoods are sacred to the old gods. The singers believe they are the old gods. When the singers die, they become part of that godhood." Bran's eyes widened. "They're going to kill me?" "No," Mira said. "Jojen, you're scaring him. He is not the one who needs to be afraid." When the first men cut down the trees with the carved faces, if to the children of the forest, their people go into the ground, the soil, whatever, into the trees, that person, people, fucking village in that tree, when it's down and burned, it's finally killed. Their life force is no more. No wonder they're so angry, but do you think that made them devious? Because I sure do. What do you think? And yeah, have a good day. Like, subscribe, all that. Cheerio! During their... Fucked it already. During the war with the First Men, the children of the forest used a supposed spell called the Hammer of the Wood, using the sea to both break the arm of door and... Right. Fuck. No, that was right. Once Bran reaches the Three-Eyed Raven's cave, we actually meet some children of the forest, and we get a bit more. Once Bran reaches the start again, Alex. Once Bran reaches Three-Eyed Raven, no, fuck. Once Bran actually reaches Three-Eyed Raven's cave. Once Bran reaches the children of fuck. In the show, Bran uses the books. Dear.